Hello. And I see Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey. Oh, you're just connecting. Hi, Jeffrey. Hello. And I see another familiar faces and maybe from another batch as well. Let's see. Cool. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable in the non-existence chair that we provided in this room. And welcome. I see some of you still connecting on the audio, but if you're already here and you can turn on your cam, please turn on your cam so we can see your faces and say hi. Feel like, human interaction. Perks of being online, sometimes it's getting hard to see your faces and to see the eye contact. So if you could just turn on your cam, and we're waiting, still waiting. Oh, okay, it's already 7 p.m. I think we can start the live YouTube. So, okay. All right, everyone, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, students and alumni of RevoU, and everyone joining us here tonight. Welcome. Hi, and everyone. Hi, Rahayu. I see some of my students here. So, welcome to our 35th of Expert Sharing series. My name is Irina Saraswati, and you can call me by my name, Irina. Usually at this hour and another days, I am the section manager of section G. So I see some of my students here. Hi, Ka Hariska. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us, and I hope your assignment is doing well. Yeah, good to know. But tonight I will be the host of our ESS. So by the way, be sure to follow our RevoU socials like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to get our latest info about programs and even the next ESS, guys. So if you're new here outside of RevoU, so please follow our socials too, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, okay? And guys, I am so excited to welcome all of you to our inspiring and interactive lecture session. So please feel free to say hi, guys. You could drop in and you could unmute, say hi to us. Or you could just type in if you're unable to unmute in our chat box, say hi to everyone, and feel free to drop your answers, your thoughts in the chat box, and I'll do my best to read it and translate if you are more comfortable speaking in Bahasa. So hi, everyone, can you, oh, I see another familiar faces. Hi, Putri. Oh yeah, guys, later on we will have we will have a Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions regarding tonight's lecture, and if you want to discuss it during the Q&A session, feel free to click on the link in the chat box. Hi, Risika. This is the link for the Slido in the chat box. Please give me a moment. Yeah, so that's the link to the Slido. So if you click the link, it will lead you to the Slido page and you may put your questions there. So once again, if you want to ask in Q&A session, just slide into our Slido page. So let's try. Are you guys excited to start and get learning? I see some of you already turn on your camera, and maybe you could unmute if you want to say hi. Hi, Deta. Could you unmute and say hi? Want to know you are.
Hi.
That's my favorite student. All right. Yeah, you want to say hi to our speaker tonight. So let's get on moving in to start our ESS session. So maybe some of you are still currently studying digital marketing, or even right now you're working as a marketer, or even having your own business. So you must have heard about customer persona, buyer persona. So let me introduce you to our speaker tonight, who is none other than Mr. Avin Pokardes, the founder at Ideal Lights Creative Jakarta. Say hello, everyone, in the chat box, or if you want to unmute. And today, we will learn from Mr. Avin as he will share and discuss with us regarding empathy mapping and the best practices to build customer persona. So let's hear it from you, Mr. Avin. How are you?
I'm good, Irina. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah. How are you feeling tonight? Feeling good?
Like I told you earlier, right? I just got my second vaccine shot today, so I hope I can last today.
let's hope for the best, guys.
Yep.
All right, so the floor is yours, Mr. Evan.
Thank you very much, Rina. And thank you everyone for joining us today in understanding the importance of customer personas, right? I actually have one person who works for me from RevoU, and I know he's been one of the most excited people this whole week for the event tonight, right? Along with me, I want to introduce Graciela Theodorus. She's actually one of my partners. Grace, you want to say hi?
Call me Grace.
So we're hoping to have an engaging discussion today. So everyone, please turn on your cameras. I want to see your faces. Because right now, all I'm seeing is blank screens and a random bunch of photos, which do not look very interesting. Okay. For those of you who are shy, don't worry. Just use a filter, put on a fake hat, those fake glasses or something, right? And just have fun, right? Put on a nice Zoom background like what Irina has or what Elizabeth has. It'll be cool. We'll be using the Zoom chat a lot today. So can we just do a quick test? Who here has ever done or created a customer persona? Just put yes or no in the Zoom chat.
All right, everyone, it's your time to shine. You can just type in yes or no in their chat box.
Reza, fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
And still not yet. Okay. Priska, yes. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses.
Yeses, yeah.
No's. More like a 50-50 split, yeah? That's good. At least some of you will be learning something new, and for the others, maybe it's like a refresher course kind of thing. That's awesome, right? For those of you who haven't, can you just tell me what are you looking to get out of today's session? Right? Is it something that you're really curious to learn about? Something curious that you want to know about? If there is, please type it in the Zoom chat, or I believe Irina sent you the Slido link, link, right?
Yeah.
You can put your questions there. And let's have some fun. Honestly, I'm still seeing no one with their screens on, and I think it'd be more fun if
yes,
screens
exactly.
are on.
So
And
if you can, please turn on your camera so we can see your faces. Say hi, be friendly,
and start chatting in the Zoom chat as much as possible. Grace, do you mind setting up the
PowerPoint? Yeah, sure. Wait.
Go to the next one. All right, so my name is Abin Pokardas. I was actually born and raised in Jakarta. I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur due to the pandemic. It's kind of funny. I actually left last year from Jakarta to Singapore for the weekend. And I brought one small trolley bag, thinking I'm going to go away for 3 nights, not knowing I've been away for almost 16 months. Right, so I'm definitely needing more clothes than ever before. But here's the small word cloud about me, right? Just type in the Zoom chat if any of those words really relate to you or you're interested in to get to know about me. I'm going to pick 3 words or 3 words that you guys chat about, and I'll tell you a little story about me.
All right, everyone, you could see in the screen right now, there's a networking, there's an entrepreneur, customer experience. So pick 3 words that you think are interesting for you and you want to know more about. You can type it in the chat box. Feel free to do that. There's also extrovert, there's traveler.
Let
me see.
Some of them asking about gambler.
Gambler.
Well, the gambler side of me is definitely the side that takes risks, right? It's either starting new businesses as an entrepreneur, whether it's doing risky things or doing different activities. I'm that kind of person who just tries to balance out the risks and take a chance. Somebody said horophile. If you see in the picture as well, I'm a big fan of watches and I'm a collector of watches, and a horophile is people who actually love watches. Right? And the last one I think I remember seeing entrepreneur. Well, you'll see in the next slide that in my life, in the last 6, 7, 8 years, I've actually started about 8 different companies. A few of them have failed, but 5 of them have actually taken off and done really well. So I always take risks. I'm an entrepreneur with a couple of companies and a couple of businesses, and I love my watches. Thank you. Grace, can you go next? So my first company is Idealites. Idealites is my digital marketing agency where we work with clients from all over the world. We work with clients from the US to Korea to France, Indonesia, Singapore, and we help them with their marketing strategy and execution. The Blank Pad is my copywriting and storytelling agency where Grace is actually my partner. Thinkers X, my newest company, is my innovation agency. And Inertia Labs, for those who are data geeks and love data, it's my SaaS software where we do retail data analysis. Right? So, you might be thinking that either I'm crazy, I don't have a life. Well, guess what? You're probably right. I know Grace will agree with me when I say that. However,
Yes.
however, all the four companies are actually linked together, and I'll show you at the end of the presentation how they all tie into each other. Right? So let's start. What exactly is a customer persona? Now, I'm not a big fan of definitions and a lot of text on screen, so I'm going to reduce that. This is the only slide I'm going to show you with a lot of words because I hate them. But if you just take a look at this, there's three different definitions of a customer persona or a buyer persona, whatever you're going to call it. Right? There are four major elements to a customer persona. It's very simple. The number one is it requires adequate research. To really understand who your buyer is or your customer is, you really need to do a whole lot of research to understand who they are. And it doesn't mean everybody in your business or anybody in your course or anybody in your class or whatever it is. It's the majority of your customers. Now, these customers could be real, could be fake, could be hypothetical, or it could be a real person. It doesn't matter. Right? It could be someone totally made up. The third one is the point of doing the customer persona is to really understand your customers' emotions, their motivations, their pain points, the way they think. You really want to get into their shoes. Right? If you can understand the way they feel and think, you will be able to do the right marketing, create the right products, create the right services, and do the right thing for your customers so that they will come back to you over and over and over again. Right? And finally, the last point to remember when you're doing customer persona is how do you empathize with that person? Right? I love the word empathy, by the way, especially now with the pandemic. Everyone, I mean, there's 67 participants in this Zoom call today. Whoever we were 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, totally different to who we are today. And definitely going to be very different to who we will be 2 years from now. We ourselves grow and change with time, with the environment, with things around us. So how do we empathize with our customers, with our buyers as we move along in life? Okay. Next, Grace. So the next question is, how do you find your audience? How do you figure out who is your target market? Right? Can some of you guys just type in a few responses? How would you find out who your actual target market is? I'm kind of curious. How would you find this out? Please just type it in the Zoom chat.
Of course, it's your time to shine again. Audiences, you could type in your answers.
Surveys.
How do you
Reza,
find your
fantastic.
audience? Yeah, there's Reza with survey. Another one, maybe. Do you have any other idea? How would you find your
Market
audience?
research. I like these answers. Web analytics, very nice.
Truly
Analytical data.
marketing students, yeah?
I guess they all like data, right?
Yeah, data.
Any more responses?
Let's see. Web analytics. Any more, guys?
Grace, go ahead. Let's show some of the responses that I have. So the first thing I would do is get to know your clients. Just call them, have a conversation with them. Just really get to know them, ask them the right questions, understand their pain points. What really moves them to move towards to your product, your company, or your service. Look at your competition. What are they doing? Who are their audience? Who are their customers? Right? Conduct focus groups. Have a small group of 5-10 people every quarter, every semester, and just ask them questions about your products, your service, the experience they feel from them, right? Do some market research. I mean, during the pandemic, maybe we can't meet as many people. So it's a simple market research, maybe some Google desktop research. That's also fine, right? Someone said surveys, fantastic. Conduct surveys or questionnaires. Now, for those of you who are introverts and love sitting at home and just staying online, monitor comments and engagement on social media. You know, when people leave reviews on Agoda, or they leave a comment on a social media post, right? Or they're engaging and saving and sharing different posts. Monitor all that. Witness habits. See how your audience is living their life day to day. Are they getting up early in the morning? Are they sleeping really late? Are they having 3 cups of coffee throughout the day? Are they stressed out? Are they enjoying working from home? Right? I didn't even know this about myself. I thought I needed an office. I've always loved just working in an office, right? My dream was to have an office right in Tamrin Sudirman atau di Mega Kuningan. Would love to have an office maybe near RevoU as well in Mega Kuningan. But one thing I learned is that, hey, I actually like working from home. I'm definitely more efficient. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. It's nice. I enjoy this work from home concept. Anthropological research. See how that person or your customer has changed over time, right? Again, like I said before, how were they 2 years ago to how they are today will definitely change to how they are in the future as well. Someone said networking. That's a great way. This is just 8 ideas that I have. I mean, there are so many other ways to really find your true audience, right? And for those who like data, take a look at website analytics. Take a look at your app analytics. See how people interact with different pages, different buttons that you have, different CTAs, all of these things. So the one thing that, before you do any customer persona, the one most important thing is, how do you empathize with that person? How do you really get to know that person in and out, right? So I wanted to do something engaging, because I've done a lot of these webinars where one person speaks and then it gets a bit boring, right? Because you're just jotting down notes and you're just listening to them. So I want to do a little bit more, something a bit more interactive. So Grace and I have created a Miro board where we're actually going to do a empathy map with you guys, right? So I'm going to make it a little bit easy. I'm going to make it that we already have a customer persona. We already have this person. And this person is a professional who travels by plane for work. Do you guys remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe you have some project in Bali, you'll fly to Bali for the weekend, or you might go to Semarang for another meeting, or you might close a client in Palembang, or you might go to Singapore for a meeting, right? So these professionals who travel by plane for work. How about those same professionals traveling today by plane for work? Most people are still traveling, right? So how do they feel when they travel today with the pandemic, with COVID raging all around us? What do they see? How do they feel, right? So Grace here is going to help me in filling up this empathy map. I'm going to do number 1 and number 2, and I hope the rest of you guys will start answering some questions or answering my questions and putting in the Zoom chat for the rest of them. So who are we empathizing with? Grace, maybe we're empathizing with professionals. We're empathizing with employees, right? Maybe we're empathizing with regional managers because they travel a lot. Maybe we're empathizing with salespeople because they have to go all over the country, maybe different parts of ASEAN, Southeast Asia, right? Number 2, what do they need to do? What is the whole point of travel? Literally, they're just going from A to B, location 1 to location 2. That's it, right? But why are they doing it? What do they need to do? They have to go there for a meeting, right? They want to see someone or see a company. They need to sell, possibly, or they have to build a partnership, right? So now for the rest of this, I'm going to ask everybody in the chat to please respond on the Zoom chat. If you can just imagine this professional person sitting on a plane in 2021 on August 6th, and they're flying to say Surabaya, for a meeting, and they're on the plane right now, what are they seeing? Irina, what do you see if you're on a plane right now? What do you see around you?
If I'm the plane right now, I would probably see lots of seats, people wearing masks, magazines.
Fantastic. Someone said blank seats. Really good.
Yeah, blank seats.
Less
Someone
people.
say less people, sanitizing.
Sanitizers. Yep.
No food. Yeah, no food.
No food.
No food. You cannot buy food.
COVID everywhere. The view
Yeah,
outside.
maybe
the sky.
people coughing in the plane. That's a bit nervous.
Luchu,
View outside the
2 years
sky.
ago, no one cared. Now people coughing, we get so scared, we run away from them, right?
Yeah.
View from the sky, beautiful. I miss that, to be honest. You're flying over someplace really nice and you look out the window and it's a beautiful view. Maybe sunset as you land. I miss those. Yeah. Flight manual when the plane going down. Wait, plane going down.
A bit dark there.
What is that? Flight manual to get out when the plane going down.
You know,
Okay, a bit dark,
yeah.
Michael.
A bit dark.
Let's just stick with flight manual and maybe like in-flight magazine. Oh, beautiful stewardess.
Beautiful
I like
stewardess, yeah.
Rayu. Yep, that's
What?
fantastic. Beautiful stewardesses.
Oh,
I like that. So if you're on the plane, Irina, what do you say when you're there? What do you say when you're on the plane?
What do
Or
I
even-
say?
Yeah, what do you say? Like before getting on the plane itself, before you leave or when you disembark, what do you say?
Before I leave, I would say thank you to the stewardess. Maybe.
Okay. Gratitude, thank yous. How about the rest of everyone on this? Stay safe. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
A prayer.
Prayer, yeah.
You ever had this situation where you're sitting in a seat and someone's chair in front of you keeps going back too low while you're eating and it's just
Oh,
not so
yes.
good,
Mhm.
right? So you're like, excuse me, can you please move your seat up, Vito? Right?
Don't leave your belonging. Yeah.
Don't leave your belongings. Yeah.
Your mask. Bye.
Please wear your mask. Or I remember I would always do my last minute phone call to my wife before I get before the plane leaves. Right?
Mhm.
Good. How about the next one, Grace? What do they do? What do you do when you're on the plane? Just imagine you're on a 2-hour flight to Surabaya. Right?
2
What do you
hours
do
is going to
on the
be long, eh? So I think I would read a book.
Read, sleep,
Mhm.
fantastic. Ask for a drink,
Listen to a
Listen to
song.
podcast.
Podcast. Mhm.
You're sitting, yeah. Watching a movie, yeah. Yep. I remember I kind of miss those in-flight magazines where if you travel every month, it's gonna be a new movie every month,
Yeah.
I used to get excited that knowing that okay, I'm going there on the way back, I'm gonna catch this movie. Yeah. Finish assignments from RevoU. Fantastic. This guy's really
Wow.
studious. How you?
Best
You're
student, yeah.
student.
Yeah. Awesome. That is awesome. Either you're a very studious person or Irina is overworking you.
Sorry?
Either Irina is overworking you. Yeah. Fantastic. How about what do you hear when you're on a plane?
Airplane noises. The machine.
The engine, yeah?
Engine.
Engine. What else do you guys hear?
Probably the stewardess saying, "Good morning, passengers," like that.
The announcement, yeah.
That announcement.
Someone
Music.
said that baby's crying.
Yes, baby's crying.
Loud flushing of the toilet. Okay, Rishika, you're hilarious. I like that. The seatbelt sounds, yeah. Health protocol.
Someone say pantun. Oh, that's like one of the airlines protocol.
Pantun.
Yeah, pantun.
Now let's really get into the mind of this person. Remember, they're a professional, they're traveling for work, and they're on a plane during COVID. Now, how do they think and feel? Let's go through the pains. What pains are they feeling? Nervous, scared, worried, anxious. Nice. Concern of safety. Irina, honestly, I'm really excited about this crowd. Everyone's sharing their ideas and their comments. I'm
Yes,
really happy. This is something I was always worried about, but I'm really excited here.
very
Scared,
interactive.
fatigued,
Thank you, guys.
right? Tired.
Tired, yeah. Worried.
You guys ever hate that feeling of delays? Fear of my flight being delayed, right? Because you have to rush for the meeting. You're about to land, and if you're late by an hour, then the meeting is gone, kind of thing, right? Fear of turbulence. I hate turbulence.
Me too, yeah.
True story. I remember my wife and I were flying back from Portugal, and the plane was actually not even going up and down. It was kind of going sideways, beginning, and it was
That's so
it was a hailstorm.
scary.
Yeah, it was so scary. It was a snowstorm. There were hailing rocks on the side of the plane, and we had to land in Turkey, and we were stuck in the airport for 72 hours. Tidur di lantai for 72 hours. Yep.
Wow.
The turbulence, really scared of turbulence for me.
That must be traumatic for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I can never forget that trip. Ear pain. Yep. Ear pain, yes. Blocked ears and stuff like that. What are the pains do people have when they're flying?
Here, what? Sorry.
Ear
Ear pain.
pains.
Ear pain. How about noisiness? Like crying baby sitting right beside you.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, I love kids, but when they're crying on a plane and I'm trying to sleep, no man. Okay. And the last one, what about the gains? How do they feel? What gains are they feeling?
Maybe faster way of transportation.
Fantastic. Okay, it's speed, it's efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm going to another place, travel, the feeling of just
Excitement,
getting
yeah.
to a new location. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. View from above. Who said that?
Maria.
Maria. That means you love your window seats there. Nice. Yes. View from above. Yes. Meet and learn about a new place and culture. Yeah. Yeah. Experience for VIP class. Reza, I assume you're a first class traveler. Michael, I'm pretty sure this is all the way for you, huh? Okay, so you really enjoyed the view. Nice. The bar, Mawada. Okay. Unless you think
That's you.
that's me.
That's exactly you.
Yes, I do like the Emirates bar. That's a really nice bar. Good. Can we zoom out, Grace? Take a look at this, guys. I mean, this is literally in not even 10 minutes, I think. We've just been able to really understand this professional person, right? Again, could be a manager, could be Irina, right? Maybe she's flying to Bali to meet up with Ben to create another event, right? Or maybe they have a work discussion or a work meeting, right? Do you guys feel like you know this person now? Do you feel like you've been able to empathize with who this person is? Just type yes or no in the chat. Mini, yes, yes. Good. If you close your eyes, could you just imagine that you are the person sitting in the chair? You know, there's maybe a baby crying next to you, but you're looking forward to the next location. You look out the window, there's a beautiful view. You're hearing some sounds. You can hear the engine next to you. You're actually hearing people saying thank you and excuse me for asking for food, asking for peanuts, drinks. Good. Now, imagine taking all of this. You've empathized with this persona now. Imagine taking all of these ideas, and Gracie, if you can just shift to the right, and moving it to a client persona. Right. So Grace and I actually worked on this for you guys. So we've already done a plan for you. So you can actually take all of those and put it in here in different orders. So here you're thinking about, okay, let's look at the basic information about the person. Grace, do you mind zooming in a little bit? It's a bit small. Yeah, perfect. So why don't we make up a name? So we made up a name. Her name is Elaine Hugh. She's female. She's a regional director. She's 35 from Malaysia. Maybe she's married. Maybe she has a kid. And we want to know a little bit more about her. right? So how can you reach her? How do you, if you're thinking about digital marketing or performance marketing, right? She's flying for work. How do you reach her? Is it traditional media? Is it emails? Is it social media? Is it physical face-to-face? I mean, she's flying for a meeting. Maybe she's not much of a Zoom person. Maybe she likes to physically meet people in real life. What's her personality like? Is she an extrovert, introvert? Does she like to, is she more of a sensing person, or is she more intuitive? Or is she somewhere in between? Does she think before she acts, or does she act based on her feelings? I'm definitely the guy who does a lot of acting on my feelings. I usually don't think before I act, which sometimes my wife gets pissed off at me, but it's okay. Right? Is she judging or perceiving? Does she judge everyone around her, or does she just perceive whatever's around her as is? Right? The most important thing, yes, you're right, Rishika. It is an MBTI reference. Most important is what motivates her. Right? This is where we can actually work on the customer persona to see what motivates her and use that in our ads, in our copywriting, in whatever material we're doing in our marketing to motivate her to be our customer. So in her case, is it incentives? Is it fear? Is it achievement, growth, power, social? And most important is how tech savvy is she, right? Because that's how you're going to know how to attract her or how to communicate with her. Right? If you go down a bit, by the way, this customer persona, it's something that my company, the Blank Pad, created. There's no standard version of the customer persona. There's so many ways you can do it. And I'll show you a couple of samples. So there's no set guidelines on how to make it. You can do as many different styles as you want, right? But for this person, Elaine, what are her interests? So maybe in her case, she likes reading, travel, spending time with family, working, networking. So now I can just imagine, based on the empathy map that we've done and her interests, I can actually imagine her just reading a book, reading a magazine. Maybe she's reading a parenting book because she likes spending time with her family as well. Right? What are her goals and desires? To be a good mom. She likes to always be on time. She's stickler about efficiency. She wants to be the top employee, top performer. She's traveling all over Indonesia or Asia to get deals done, to get her work done. Right? But what are her problems and pain points? She doesn't like delayed flights. She doesn't like tardiness, right? And she doesn't want to spend too much time planning her travel. If she's a person like a regional director or a manager, she's probably traveling every week, every 2 weeks. She doesn't want to spend 3 hours booking a flight when it's the same trip every week or every 2 weeks. Do you mind going to the left a bit, Grace? To the left. There you go. So when you think about your product, whether it's a digital product, whether it's a service, whether it's a physical product, what are the key reasons to buy your product, right? So for her, it's probably about great service before she buys the product, even after she buys the product, right? Comfortable seating. Right? There's so many different airlines out there. Which seat is the most comfortable? She's probably going to go for that one. Right? She's probably going to pick a flight that's always on time because she's on a work trip, right? The quickest route, you don't want to go via 3 different destinations just to go to one place. You want to take the most direct route as possible, right? Efficiency, easy booking, all of these things are the key reasons why she might buy that particular product. And what are her favorite brands and influencers? In her case, it's probably Grab, Traveloka, Agoda, McKinsey, and Google, because it kind of relates back to the fact that she loves traveling, but she's also a workaholic, right? So what would be her deal makers? Again, loyalty points. She's an avid traveler, right? Quickest routes, direct flights, upgrades if possible, right? Who was it that said that they want VIP treatments? Maybe upgrades and using the lounge or getting a free upgrade to business or first class. Maybe that's her deal maker for her. But again, what is the deal breaker for her? Can you imagine having a bad experience on the plane, sitting in a bad seat, too many stops, delayed flights? Oh my God. Or in my scenario, the very worst experience is sitting at the very back of economy class, right next to the bathroom, and there's a long line of people going to the bathroom. And every time that door opens, I want to throw up. That for me is the worst, absolute worst experience. That is my deal breaker. Again. So let's go back to the presentation, Grace. I'm going to ask you guys again, actually. Now that we've done the customer persona and we've done the empathy map, do you guys have a better understanding of who this person is? Can you just envision her? If you close your eyes, could you see who that person is? Just say yes or no on the group chat. Michael, yes. Good. Good. Hansel, no. Hansel, why don't you unmute yourself and ask me, what is it that you're not feeling about this person?
Can you unmute Mr. Hansel? Hansel? Hansel.
His audio is
Oh,
broken.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so, okay, you know what? And so why don't you ask it in Slido and I'll try to answer your question. Okay,
Ooh.
great. Grace, can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
Next one. So I want to share a couple of samples. Here's a very simple example of how a customer persona can look like. Okay, her name is Valerie. She's a professional with kids. This is her background. There's no rule, like I said earlier, there's no rule on how a customer persona should actually look like or the amount of information required. You could be working for a restaurant, you could be working at RevoU, you could be working for a startup. It really depends on the information that you need for your business. Right? There's no set guidelines, no set rules. You can create your customer persona any way you like. Right? Think about your business or your client. What information really matters to them? Right? Imagine you're running a daycare business. Right? So you have a daycare center and you're trying to get more clients. Who do you target? Right? Or what questions should you be asking? So maybe you should be asking questions like, how many kids does the person have? The more kids they have, the more chances you're going to get business from that same person over and over again. How old are the kids? Or what is the person's marital status? Are they single? Are they married? Are they divorced? This information is important for that particular business. But if you're running a high-end restaurant, you don't really care if they're divorced or single. They came to eat at your restaurant, right? So maybe the persona's salary makes a bigger difference, right? Their spending habits, or even their favorite brands would be more interesting to know. So you know what they're going to order, how they're going to order, how they're going to spend at your restaurant. If you're RevoU, maybe a persona's experience, their tech abilities, or education is more important. However, you probably wouldn't even care if they're married or not, right? Irina, are you married?
Nope.
Nobody cares at RevoU. Sorry.
Ow.
All right, next. There's another.
Kampret sih Kak Anda.
Oh.
Thanks, Ivana.
Sorry, Ivana. Looks like her audio bocor.
So here's another simple example. In fact, these are the type of personas I actually like to see because they're a bit more fun, they're a bit more free, a bit more casual. Now you take a look at this. This is from a cafe in San Francisco, right? There are two things that I want to point out that I really like about this persona. If you see the name, it's Stacy the student. So if you just name a person Stacy or Grace or Rena, you might forget the name over time. But if you put the name of the person with their position or something about them that describes them, right, it makes it a bit more memorable. Right? And the fact that they use Stacy with an S and student with an S, using a bit of alliteration, will actually make it even more memorable. The other thing that I like here is they actually made a 6 bullet points a daily life of Stacy. In 6 bullet points, you can actually describe what she does from the moment she wakes up till the moment she sleeps. And being a cafe, you want to hit that, or you want to target that person every single time she has that caffeine craving. Okay. Take a look at the next one. Also, one of my favorites. This is actually a customer persona from a company called Indie Game Girl, right? And they created this persona of Samantha. And if you look at it, her name is, again, socially competitive Samantha, using SNS, a bit of alliteration. But when they interviewed this person, they actually jotted down or noted a few of her a few of her words or her quotes. So you'll see in the box in the bottom right, in Samantha's words. Now, why is that really important? Is because it really allows you to understand how that person speaks, how that person thinks, and how that person reacts, right? Now, on the left, there's a quote there, very simple. I love outsmarting friends in a game, but if it comes down to it, I'll spend money to win. Now, this is not something she said. It's actually something the company wrote about her. It's like a summary of her entire persona. Okay, this is not from her. It's just a summary of her entire persona. But guess what? That very simple one sentence gave me 4 points that will never make me forget about her. Point number one, she loves to play games with other players and friends. Right? Like it says at the top, socially competitive. Number two, she's very competitive. Number three, she's willing to spend money. Right? Perfect for for ads for games. Right? And number four, she likes a challenge. Whether it's herself or somebody else, she likes a challenge. Okay. Next. Now we did a simple exercise with the empathy map and the customer persona. This is actually a person that I don't know her, but I like to use this customer persona very often, Elaine Hugh. If you look at her customer persona, it's the one with the least amount of text. In fact, it's more graphs and more logos, and it's so much nicer to see, more visually appealing. But honestly, it has a lot of information about her. Okay? So let me ask you, when do you think a customer persona is needed or required? Type it in the group chat or in the Zoom chat. Or what industry is needed? Or when would you use it in your own life or in your work? When you create a new brand? Yep. Start a new brand? Yep. Arena, do you guys use it at RevoU?
We are at education technology company. So we study like performance marketing. So I think performance marketer will use this. Would it be?
Yeah, performance marketing. Yeah, we're trying to sell something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grace, why don't you show the list? So I just came up with a very simple list of where you can actually use customer personas. And I know I have somebody in my team from RevoU, and he uses this for performance marketing. The rest of my team actually use it for social media. Grace here uses it for her copywriting and storytelling, because then she actually knows who she's writing for. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? How old are they? What are they doing? What are their likes? What are their dislikes? Someone says starting a business. That's fantastic. Yes. When you start a new business, again, it could be a restaurant. It could be an amusement park. It could be an app. Whatever it is, it's good to know who are you targeting to. Yeah, and you could have more than one customer persona. It's not a problem. Next, Grace. Now, in fact, a lot of people have asked me a few questions, and so I want to share these questions with you, and I want you to answer in the Zoom chat again. How many customer personas should a company need, or should a business have?
So it's an interesting question. I will translate it to Indonesia. So berapa banyak customer persona yang menurut kamu dibutuhkan untuk kamu buat? Boleh kamu tulis di chat box. Kalau kamu tahu jawabannya, how many customers? Berapa banyak customer personas yang kamu perlukan? There's already some answers. As many as you need.
You guys are awesome. It was a trick question. As many as you need is the correct answer. Because you know what? A business might have 2 or 3 or 4 products or 4 or 5 services, and each service could have a different customer persona. I know for one of my companies, I think we have maybe about 7 different customer personas because we have 3 different products. Right? So there's no limit. You can have as many customer personas as you need. However, please don't get too bogged down by making so many customer personas that you're not focused on who your main target market is. Remember our definition in the beginning, right? You want to hit your biggest customer segmentation. If you have a customer persona that you're building that only relates to maybe 2% of your revenue, maybe ignore it. Focus on the other 98%, right? Michael, you're right. Stay focused. Right? How about the next question? What do you guys think? How often do you need to create a customer persona?
Translate, seberapa sering menurut kamu, kita perlu membuat customer persona?
Whenever it needs. Okay.
Lagi teman-teman? Whenever.
That's a good answer. When we're creating a new product or brand, yep. Right. Actually, I like to use this in my work. A simple rule of thumb. When something changes in that persona's life, whether it's an environmental change, whether it's a social change, whether it's any kind of change that happens, or even it's a new product, a new service that you're offering out, maybe create a new customer persona. There might not be many changes. It could be one or two things. But again, I can just imagine if I did a customer persona on Irina 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and a year from now when she's already used to everything after getting her vaccinations, totally different customer persona. Her pains and gains would be so different. Her motivations would be different. Her fears would be different. Right? What's the next question, Chris? Now, I already answered this earlier. Does anyone remember the answer to this? How much information do you need about a customer?
Yep. Seberapa banyak informasi yang kira-kira kalian butuhkan tentang seorang customer? Tadi udah sempat dibahas sama Alvin. Maybe you guys want to, as much as we can get,
Michael,
our hands.
6, as many you can get.
I'm rather curious with the answer 6. Why 6? But
yeah, why 6? Who said 6?
Prativi. Oh.
Prativi, why do you say 6?
Because of the why and the questions that you answer for the customer, the first one, that one.
Well,
honestly, that one.
Well, honestly, if you think about how much information you need, there's no limit. It could be 6, it could be 16, it could be 60, right? But it really depends on how you're using the information for your business, right? Maybe for some companies, 3 data points is more than enough. But maybe for other companies, 40 data points is still not enough, right? So think back about your business. Are you a fashion retail business? Do you have an app? Are you a restaurateur? What business do you have? And then what information do you need from that customer to build that persona? Right? Having too much information might even confuse you. So as Rishka said, yeah, makes sense. As per relevancy, whatever is relevant to your business. Right? What's the next question? How do you find out about your customer? Anyone wants to answer that?
Gimana caranya kalian bisa tahu tentang customer kamu sebagai yang business owners atau marketers? How do you find out? Bagaimana caranya nih kamu bisa cari tahu tentang customer kamu? Let's see. Ada answer. Ada social media such as Twitter, Instagram, or from Fabi, ask them directly. Jeffrey said survey.
You know, I'm seeing 6 people saying surveys. 1 person said ask them directly. And those are all the right answers. How do you find out about your customer? Ask. Always ask them. Whether you're doing it offline or online, doesn't matter. You could send out surveys, questionnaires, whatever you want to do. Ask, keep asking. The more you ask your customers in a survey, questionnaire, asking them in person, doing a focus group, whatever it is, keep asking them questions to really get to know them. And you ask them a question today, their answer could change 6 months from now. It could change 1 year from now. So keep learning about your customers. Yeah. Just remember, just imagine, if you are now maybe 25 years old, if somebody asks you a question about your service when you were 21, it could be totally different to when you answer the question when you're 29 or 30. Right? Keep asking questions. Next one. Do we need customer personas for digital products? What do you guys think?
Apakah menurut kalian, apakah kita butuh customer persona untuk produk-produk yang digital?
Yep. Because
yes,
it's no
absolutely.
difference. It's no difference. Digital products or offline products, whether I'm selling a bottle of water or I am Gojek. It's everything's a product, everything's a service. You still need to understand who are your customers or who are your buyer personas, right? So you know who to target. Yep, Henry, fantastic to be as personalized as possible. That's the last question. Oh, are customer personas important for apps? Since everyone here at RevoU love digital marketing and performance marketing, everyone's
Customer
saying
persona important untuk penting untuk aplikasi. Most of them are saying yes. Avin.
I guess it's an easy question. Fantastic. I love it. All right. Guys, I have just 2 more slides. All right. I hope you guys have enjoyed so far. I just got 2 more simple slides. Grace, you can go to the next one. So I told you I have 4 companies. And someone's sound is a bit butchered, but I told you I have 4 companies. And so the one thing that really ties everything together is this one quote from Scott Cook of Intuit. And he said, instead of focusing on the competition, really just focus on the customer, right? So all these 4 companies, even though it's digital marketing, it's copywriting, it's innovation and business model, or even data, each one of them really has to understand who their customer is. And all of them will link together. If you don't know who your customer is, it's like building a product for nobody. You can create the most amazing app. You have the most beautiful website. You build the most innovative product, but nobody wants to buy it. It's because you don't understand the customer. So I tell this to all my clients, I tell this to all my partners, and I tell this to my team. Who are we offering our services to? Who are we offering your products to? Understand that customer, understand what are their needs, what are their wants, what are you doing that really makes a difference in their life? And that will keep your customer coming back to you over and over and over again. Okay. So last slide. How are you going to use customer personas in your work? Please share in the chat. I'm really curious now.
Yep, guys, feel free to put in your thoughts. How are you going to use customer personas in your work? Atau bagaimana caranya kalian akan menggunakan customer persona di dalam pekerjaan kalian, baik itu marketer ataupun business owners. What do you guys think? How are you going to use customer personas in your work? Let's see.
Let's start with you, Irina. How are you going to use it?
I'm gonna use it to create a marketing strategy, actually, like what kind of wording do I think the ad will be effective on them, or maybe what type of platform do I think like the ad will be more interesting to them, so on, stuff like that.
Fantastic. I'm reading this. I'm personalized promotions, targeting new audience. Let's see. Facebook ads, personalized creative and ads copy. Fantastic. I feel like everyone here in this webinar is part of marketing or love marketing, or yeah, I guess everyone's a marketer here. Lookalike audiences. This is awesome. I love the responses, guys. You guys have been an awesome audience. My last slide after this, I want to introduce Grace, who is my partner at the Blank Pad. So Grace and I thought that after this webinar, we want to share something with you. So we both created a course called Empathetic Marketing Course, right? And it's all about understanding empathy mapping. It's all about understanding your customers. And it gives you a couple of examples from real world brands around the world. It could be Nike, we have Nike, we have Heineken on board. We have a lot of different brands, and we want to share some ideas and some examples with you of some failed marketing when they did not use empathy, when they did not figure out their customer personas, or they did not do the empathy mapping. And those brands who did such amazing work and were empathetic in the marketing. And all of this is not old, it's all in the last 1 year. Right? So it's a very relevant course. It's something that's interesting. And for those of you who are interested, you can scan the QR code. Actually, Grace, why don't you introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about this course, actually, since you're the one who wrote it.
Yeah, exactly like Alan said. Empathy is very important in today's day and age. Like due to COVID, people have different habits, different interests. They think and feel differently. They crave more connection, not only with other people, but also with brands. And that connection, we can only achieve that by being empathetic, by putting ourselves in other people's shoes, like what we just did in the exercise. And aside from that, we should also infuse empathy into our own strategy, which is why Avin and I created this course basically, because we believe that empathetic marketing is the future of marketing. It can help you create more personalized experiences for your customers, create customer-centric products, approaches. It will humanize your brand. It will allow you to build that trust, that connection, relationship with your customers, which is key to actually gaining and maintaining the loyal customers for your brand. So, well, if you're interested in learning more about empathetic marketing, you can sign up to our course. We are offering a special discount, 20% off for everyone here joining us today with RevoU. By the way, this is an online course, so you can do the course anytime you want, but the special price will only be valid until the end of August. Yeah, so if you are interested, just check out our course, scan the QR code. I hope you can. Is it too small? No? Or just head over to that link down below. You will be redirected to our Thinkific website. Yeah, that's it.
Hansel, to answer your question, you can start anytime. Right? The promo code is the end of the month, but you can start anytime. No problem. You can finish your classes from Idrina dulu. No problem.
No problem, Hansel. No worries.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I hope you guys had an enjoyable time and learned something. Yeah.
Wow. All right, guys, it's the end of the lecture session from Avin. I think I speak on the behalf of everyone in here or from the audience that your lecture has been so inspiring and insightful for students who are in marketing or currently marketer or having their own business, actually. So I think you did a great job, Avin. Thank you so much for your lectures. And I think right now we are moving forward to the Q&A sessions. Are you ready?
Sure. Thank you again, everyone. And honestly, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you guys are interactive. Right? That's the most important thing for me. I'm so happy about that.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Yeah, like Evan said, thank you for your enthusiasm and your engaging during the lecture session. So let's move on to the Q&A session. You see here we have 8 questions. Can you see it, Arvin?
Yep.
So far, so good. All right. So maybe we can start with the first question with the most thumb. So yeah, everyone, once again, if you want to ask a question, you can slide into our sliding page. The link will be put in the chat box. And then if you're here and you don't have any questions, and you think one of the questions in this list is interesting enough for me to read about it, do put a thumbs up, so I could see if that's your interest. So let's see. In here we have the first question with only one, but that's okay. And from Anonymous, they ask, what if we created a wrong user persona and how do we make sure that it is correct if we do not have any customers yet?
Okay, good. You can always make a wrong user persona, but the best way to eliminate the mistakes is by doing enough research. If you do enough surveys, enough questionnaires, if you do enough research online and you ask people more questions, you will not get a wrong user persona. In fact, over time, you can only improve on it. So you ask me, we make sure that that is correct if we do not have any customers yet. If you don't have any customers, it could be a problem with your product or service, or it's the wrong user persona, which over time, you will find the right user. There's always a user for any product that you have. There's no way there's not going to have one person who's going to buy your product. But how do you make sure that you're going to get a mass market or a niche market is by asking the right questions, doing as much research when you build that user persona. Take time. It's not an overnight thing. The exercise that we did earlier was just a example, right? It's something we did in like half an hour. But when I do customer personas with my clients, it can take a couple of weeks. Sometimes it can take 2 months, 3 months. And sometimes even after 6 months, we're redoing it again, right? Maybe we found out something new over time. that we can improve on it. I hope that answered your question.
So thank you, Evan, for the answer, and thank you, Anon, for the questions. We're moving on to the next question, which is another one from Anon. What is or is there a difference between a target market and demographic to customer persona? Let me translate it first. Apakah ada perbedaan antara target market dengan demografik untuk sebuah customer persona?
There's a big difference. Actually, the target market and demographic is part of your customer persona. So remember, the customer persona is literally to figure out who that individual is, who that person is, right? So your demographics is part of that person, whether they're whatever religion they are, whatever area they're living in, whatever city they're living in. That demographics is part of the customer persona. So there's not a difference, it's actually embedded inside the customer persona. So if you took a look at the examples that I gave you, a lot of them will show you where they're located at, what religion they are, or what age they are, or what gender, or what race they are. It's all part of the customer persona. So you actually combine it together. Yes, I mean, the persona is very specific because now you're not just thinking about the demographics, but you're actually thinking about how they think, how they feel. It's again, like if we think about the definition, it's about the emotions of that person. Michael, you hit on the nail.
Cool, as always, Michael, thank you for helping us. And that's from Anon. Let me, maybe this one. There's another popular question from another Anon. Do you make personas based on data or brainstorming like we did during this session? Can you give examples on the liberties that we can take making customer persona? Liberty, does it mean like outside of what we have already done in the session?
Are you going to translate it?
Ya. Bagaimana caranya kalian membuat personas? Apakah berdasarkan data atau cuma sekedar dalam brainstorming atau dalam diskusi yang tadi kita udah lakukan? Apakah ada contoh untuk liberties, maybe maksudnya di luar dari apa yang udah kita lakukan tadi untuk membuat sebuah customer persona?
Okay, this is a very interesting and very easy answer. Who here likes data? Just say yes or no in the group chat. How many people here like to analyze data? Because I'm assuming from this group of people from RevoU, majority of people enjoy data, or they enjoy gathering and analyzing data. So when you brainstorm a customer persona, make as many assumptions as you need. But before you launch your product, before you launch your service, before you launch your business or anything else, test out that information, test out your hypothesis. Your brainstorming is creating a hypothesis. You test it out, gather the data, and make sure it's correct. It's as simple as me saying, hey, you know what? I have a customer persona between the age of 18 and 45. Such a big age range, right? But now once you start doing an ad, once you start doing a bit of marketing or some promotions that you go on, you're going to gather some data. And when you do that, go back to your customer persona, narrow it down. Maybe you will realize it's only from 18 to 25. That's your real 80% of your target market. To 45 is only the balance 20. Don't worry about those guys. Focus on your majority. Focus on the 80%. Right? So create a hypothesis and make sure that your hypothesis is backed by data. Do as many testing as possible, both online and offline testing. Good question. I like this.
Data. That is your break. Thank you, Anon, for your question. And next, I see another question that is interesting. It's in Indonesia, so it's now my turn to translate into English. Or can you understand the question?
Where? It's all English.
This one. Oh, sorry. Still loading. Yeah. Here, this one. How do you create a customer persona if the product has a wide range of customers? Let's say it's a product for teenagers, there's also a product for customers, senior customers.
Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. Everyone knows Aqua, the water brand. I don't think anybody does not know Aqua, right? So just think about the packaging from Aqua. You have the small cups, you have the what 300 ml bottles, the 500 mils, the 1 liter, and then you have that aqua reflections, and then ada sparkling juga, which is in a glass bottle. So Aqua's customers are not you and I. Aqua's customers are actually the people who sell Aqua. So they're the warungs, they're the restaurants, they're all of these guys. So they themselves have different types of customer personas. You've got fine dining restaurants, you've got casual restaurants, you've got warungs. Each product of yours, whether you have a product for remaja atau a product for a 50-year-old plus, will have different customer personas. You can make as many customer personas as you need. Right? So if you have a wide range of products, think about the target market for that product, and then build 1, 2, or 3 customer personas there. For your next product, build 1 or 2 or 3 of them. If you see a major difference in your market, if it's an overlapping market, maybe you don't need to. But if there's definitely a big gap in the markets, make more customer personas. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, it'll even help your marketing and sales to be very specific in your promotions, in your copywriting, in your designs, and your ads.
Right.
Good question.
Good question. All right, thank you, Anand. And the next one, me. I found another interesting question. This one. If we have several customer personas, how do we choose main persona for our social media example?
Okay. For social media, I mean, there's 2 things you can look at for social media. Right? Let's take a look at Instagram, for example, or Facebook for a very simple example. Yeah, there are 2 things we can look at if you're selling a product on your social media. It could be, you could look at your followers. So you know how you have the demographics on Facebook and Instagram. Take a look at your demographics and see which are the majority, and make that as a customer persona. That could be one. But another one is, how about when you're selling something? Look at your sales data. Your followers and your sales, or the buyers, might be totally different. So take a look at your sales data and who are the people actually spending money to buy your product via social media. You could actually have a different customer persona there, right? So you can actually create 2 different customer personas, one for generating awareness to get followers, to get engagement, blah, blah, blah. And you might get another one for sales. So there is no such thing as a main persona. Just think about who's the majority for your objective. I hope that answers the question.
All right. Thank you, Anand. And moving on to the next question. I found another interesting one. This one, how to avoid biased opinions or stereotypes in creating customer persona. Bagaimana caranya kita menghindari membuat sebuah bias opinion, maksudnya apa, stereotype, dalam membuat customer persona.
I think we all have our own internal bias. We all know what stereotypes are. We all have this. But if you can take that out, it's more of a mindset change. It's a shift in your mindset. If you can take that out, once you build once you take that out, once you build a hypothesis, use data to answer those questions. Data is unbiased. It doesn't care where you're from. It doesn't look at any stereotypes. It really just answers who are your target markets. And in fact, that is one of the best questions I've heard so far, because I have seen too many businesses build a product or a service thinking about the stereotypical customer that they're looking for, not realizing it might be better for somebody else, even if the data is showing that, because they feel they built that business or that product or that service for that person. Always look at the data. Your data will be your guiding point. Use it as your northern star.
Like you said before, yeah, data is the most important to create. Is it the most important? Yeah, to create customer persona.
No, your data validates your customer persona.
Validates. Okay.
Right? You can make as many hypotheses as you want. And again, with your bias, your stereotypes, it's your data that's going to validate whether your hypothesis is correct or not.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Evan. And thank you, Anna. The next question, I think maybe we could this one first. But if 80% of customer turns out to be the outside customer persona, is it better to change the persona or change the product itself so that it would suit the persona? It's another interesting question. Bagaimana kalau misalnya 80% dari customer yang kita punya itu ternyata di luar dari apa yang kita udah bikin dalam customer persona? Apakah lebih baik kita mengubah personanya atau kita mengubah produknya supaya lebih cocok dengan persona yang sudah kita buat?
So two things can happen. I think someone asked before whether it's the wrong persona. So it could be an issue of having the wrong hypothesis and validating that, your hypothesis is incorrect. Same thing you said before, having a bias or stereotype. Maybe the data reflects that it should be something else, right? That could make sense. Or it could be a product market mismatch. You have created something what the market's not ready for. So to answer your question, I don't know yet. I don't know if your hypothesis was incorrect. I'm not so sure if the customer persona was incorrect, or the product that you created just doesn't have a market for it. So to answer this question, it's a bit difficult.
All right. And then moving on to another question. I find this one. Have you ever find a new type of customers when you implement your marketing strategy that is different than your customer persona? What would you do if so? So this is talking about your own experience, maybe in implementing your own marketing strategy. What would you do if you encounter that scenario? And to translate, apakah kamu pernah untuk waktu menjalankan marketing strategi menemukan sebuah new type, maksudnya di luar customer yang udah kalian bikin, customer persona yang udah kalian bikin, dan kalau iya, what would you do? Apa yang akan kalian lakukan?
It's always a good surprise. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. If you have an awesome product and you're selling it online or on social media or in a marketplace or whatever it is, and all of a sudden you see that there is a huge group of people buying your product which you never even thought about, that's a good problem. Research that, gain more data, understand who those people are. In fact, that's the type of people you should survey, question them, interview them, ask them, why are you buying my product? That's not a bad problem. That's a really good problem, right? So understand maybe that's a new customer persona which you never thought about because you're stuck in your bias and your stereotypes. It's a new customer persona that you should add to your list. That's a fantastic product. It's a fantastic problem.
Yeah, that could be a challenge for us. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. All right. Thank you, Anon. And another one, I think this Anon asked for 2 questions. So the first one, when we market a product, let's say diet pills, our main target are overweight people. But then the people who actually buy are also slim people wanting to keep in shape. So that would mean we would create 2 persona for this.
So I have 2 questions for Miss Anon. Question 1 is, which is a bigger market? Is it the overweight or is it the slim people who want to stay slim? Who is your primary majority target market or customer persona? Focus on them. Then let's go back to your actual business as well. What are you trying to achieve out of selling these diet pills? Okay. Are you trying to achieve a healthy lifestyle? Are you trying to focus on weight loss? Focus on your core business. Focus on your core message. What is that core message of your business?
Okay, I hope that answer your question. Anon, who asked an interesting scenario. So I'm gonna checklist on that. Oh, looks like there's only 3 questions left, Ivan.
Okay.
All right, let's finish this. And maybe from the bottom, how to indicate that we need to change customer persona from chromosome?
There's a lot of factors that makes you want to change your customer persona or revisit the customer persona. I told you one was environmental, societal changes in the environment around us. Again, COVID is a fantastic example of this, right? That could be one way of looking at changing your customer persona. The second thing, and I think this is more of the data side, is do you see your sales declining? Do you see a different group of people buying your product? Do you see a change in behavior? Do you see a competitor coming out of the woodworks, taking over your clients, taking over your customers, right? So there's a lot of different factors that could actually allow you to change your customer persona. And you have to start thinking, or at least create a signal that says, okay, my data is affecting it, my sales are dropping, something's happening, something's changing. Let's revisit our customer persona. Let's revisit who is actually buying from us now. Okay. So just always keep at the back of your mind.
Right. Thank you, Chromosome, for the question. And last two. We go for this one first from another Anon. How often do we update our customer persona? How often should we create market strategies based on this?
I think we answered this question, right? How often do we update our personas?
I think we've answered that one. And this one, we make persona as much as we need. Is there a persona that should be prioritized?
I think I've answered that as well. But again, focus on the majority of your customers. Right? I'll give you an example. RevoU, Irina, how many students do you get every batch?
Current batch is about 500 right now, and last batch is 300. So each batch we have like about 100 or 200 more.
And what are the age range?
Usually about students who are finished from graduation, so maybe early 20s to maybe even 40s, almost 50s.
If my parents want to join, they're in the 60s, mid 60s, right? If they want to join RevoU, are you going to say no to them?
I mean,
no, right? They can join, they can learn if they want to learn, right?
Yes.
But would you do a targeted marketing strategy for them, for 65-year-olds?
I think that would be a good idea.
Really?
Yeah,
because
I mean,
a very small segment of your market is 65, 70-year-olds. Again, focus on the majority.
Okay.
Is there a persona that should be prioritized? Yeah, your core market. Right? Yes, you might have a random 60-year-old who wants to do a RevoU course. Fantastic, but that's not your main target market.
True. I was thinking like maybe the 60s, yeah, but right. I mean, the majority will be the early 20s and so on.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. All right.
So the persona to be prioritized is depending on that business.
The majority of your data. Okay. I see from the chat box there are no follow-up questions, I think. Yep. So far so good. So that's the end of our Q&A session, guys. Thank you everyone for putting your questions in the slide page. And thank you once again, Avin and Grace, for the inspiring and once again, interesting, totally different, awesome. There's a lot of words for that. And everyone, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys? Can you follow up the session? Do you guys like the session? Please give a thumbs up if you are. You can give from reactions, give a thumbs up. Let me see. There's also heart. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. So last but not least, everyone, thank you again for joining us in our 35th of Expert Sharing series with Avin Pokares from Idealites. And we are, before you leave, guys, I need you guys to fill out a feedback form to help us tell us if we have anything to improve. And if you guys feel like there's a follow-up question that you want to ask, feel free to put it in there and we'll try to get back to you on that. And also, okay, I see the link is already in the chat box. And now we're ending the session, guys. Once again, thank you, everyone. And can everyone turn on their cam so we could take a picture together with Avin and Grace? Come on, it's okay. Let's turn on